Alright, here we go. Live once again, Gatorade Eracing series. Back after some complications with schedule last week. As today, we're here for race number 8 as we get the regular season down to the last couple of races here. And today is from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course right outside of Columbus. The second road course on the schedule. First one being Sonoma, which was won by Sharp, who was also last week's winner at Talladega. As this will be a race that drivers will be looking to capitalize on heading into the double points weekend next week at Vegas. The points shaking out with still only 3 winners through 7 races. Sharp and Shake and Bake splitting the 3 apiece, and then Baseball Kid with his win last time we were on the air 2 weeks ago at Dover. Nike Boy still the points leader, just 7 shy of 400, as he's the only driver to make every race so far this year. Dank Emotion sitting second, and then there's the Shark Shake duo in third and fourth. K-Line has moved into the top 5 in points. Ty Racing and Mike G sit 6th and 7th, while 8th is Baseball Kid. 9th will be Aaron, 10th will be Goodbar, 11th will be Supra, and 12th will be Savage, with Porchy and Masopes, 2 drivers that have been active recently, right on the outside looking in. So that could be about worth looking, especially for that number 2 of Porchy coming to the road course. The F1 specialist might have a hand in this one tonight. Now with the race going on, they're early due to real life events tomorrow, mainly the Big Coke 600 in real life. Looks like we're gonna have a smaller than usual cast, probably around, I think we could probably get around 10. We do have, I do believe someone might be making their debut. We'll get back to that momentarily. Now, last time we were on the air, very much a chaotic race from Dover, which saw a lot of cautions, especially in the final stage. But both moves from the 24 Baseball Kid got him his first career win, and that is before a lot of people that are in front of him in points. Guys such as Nike, Dank, Mike G, who have all shown speed. Porchima Soaps. Now, I'm sure I'll get the word when I could join for qualifying. Give a rundown of the Rossett will be there today. And yeah, I I do think I can confirm now that the 16 car, which has had a couple of drivers in it so far this season, will have another new face in it tonight, and it will be a face familiar to those from a bunch of different areas, and that is the, whether you call him famous or infamous, Speed 000 racer, who he himself very much can be competitive here at the road course of Mid Ohio. As we get set for, we get getting set. 2 minutes before qualifying rolls off the grid here. We could go take a look at that and see, take a look at the track and everything before we go full on racing. Now, look. Now for Cup, daily times are sitting around 1, are all over the place. I think weekly is probably going to be a better bet. Oh, probably the first couple are custom times, but those times down like the 1/9 in like the 119s, we could see that being race winning pace very easily if they're consistent enough in that. I mean, the customs on the all-time leaderboard are just absolutely ridiculous, being able to hit 116s, but that's what this game could be. That's what this game could be pushed to, and honestly, I wouldn't expect anything less from these drivers tonight. So, quick look before the race. You have Mid Ohio, the last road course in the regular season tonight. Before you have two in the playoffs, I might add. You have double points night at Vegas the following week, which will be huge, especially in that cut line battle. One of those guys misses or has a bad race compared to the others. That could put them in must-win situation heading into Gateway to round out the regular season. All right. Now, we're going to get over to the track here. It looks like 8 are in for qualifying. I think a couple more might be running a bit late. We'll see. Like I said, a rare Saturday night race for us. Usually we are on at this time on Sundays. And here is the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Some legendary real-life moments. My favorite, personally, is the absolutely drenched 2016 Xfinity Series race here, with Justin Marks surviving, everyone and their mother sliding off the track. As have a look, the 11, the points leader, Nike Boy Will, heads off into this left-hand turn one. You're going to be hitting about third gear in that corner. Now, don't know if it's going to be judged where the corners are going to be judged, whether you have to stay to the right of the curb or not. Now we're at the hairpin at turn number 2, and you'll see some moves being made here for sure. As now we'll switch over to Porcine the 2 as he takes that little right-handed kink into turn 3 and into the hard raking right-hander of turn 4. Really hard to get be consistent on the brakes. You'll get your car sliding a lot. And then turn 5, you see the 2 overshot, shoots it there. You'll have a lot of guys go spinning off of that corner. Into the 6, 7, 8 complex right here before the hard right-hand 90-degree turn to turn 9. Come down this little straight. You have a little kink of turn 10 and right back into the left-hand turn 11. Very much acts like I was saying, almost like the corner right before the Suzuka hairpin. And now the final 2 corners, the little hairpin, left-hander, really sets up different lines, whether you go for the exit speed and faster through that last corner, or you go for a good hairpin run. And that could be very interesting for battles. Now a quick look through the field. So you have a points leader, Nike. He's laid off in the back. He's just crossed the start-finish line, and I imagine this is going to be the one flying lap for these guys. Yeah, Porcine the 2. He's right up on the cutoff line. 2 fast laps, I've been corrected. Day Commotion, second in points head turn to today's race, and trying to close the gap in the last couple of races on the 11. Get some valuable playoff points in that regard. Sharp, 3 wins already this year through 7 races. A very strong member of this field. You're looking to add on to it and keep himself as the only road course winner in this series. He won the first road course race at Sonoma earlier this season. He's off there on his first hot lap, so he'll have to go for one lap at it. Baseball Kid, one-time winner. Last time we were on the air 2 weeks ago at Dover in a green-white checkered finish. Said pre-race he wasn't feeling confident about his abilities here, but we will see. Story Square in the 17. He's made a couple appearances so far, but can very much be fast himself. Ty Racing in the 10 as he comes through the last couple of corners. Another car that's showed up for a couple of races here and there. And then making his debut tonight, Speed Racer in the 16. And once again, a guy that can be very fast, has a reputation of being right up at the front in these road course races, wherever he races at. As now the drivers get going on their final qualifying laps. We'll go on board for the last half of the lap with Sharp here. You'll see all sorts of different gears being run through here. I've personally ran first gear through some of these corners here. I've ran second through a lot of these corners. I've run third through these corners. Don't see a lot of fourth gear corners are outside the turn 3 kink typically. You'll see a lot of shifting around as well, not just staying in one gear for a lot of the time. And that's cool. I could make this track a challenge to some of these guys. It's just the amount of shifting that you have to do as they cross the line for the final flying lap. That is Speed Racer and Sharp. There's the 24 and take the 22 off in the grass. 17 has gone off to Narnia as well. A lot of chaos at the end of qualifying for those guys. Ty Racing with a bunch of open track. He crosses the line now. And that looks to be everyone settled on their lap. So we'll see where that puts everyone. And where the spread ends up. And now, again, look, Sharp on the pole at a 120. Speed second, 120.5. And times are all over the board. Nike is back over a second from the pole in third place. Baseball Kid drops 6/10 off of him. And then it's another 8/10 back to fifth. Yeah, well, back out there. And let those guys get rolling for how many laps? How many laps is this race? Laps. As we'll get 21 laps around Mid-Ohio to decide. I did. Tell me when to join. Here we go. Now, we'll see if the field sort of tightens up more as they're side-by-side battling with each other for position. Now, as it's the 5 and the 16, Sharp Speed Racer front row lockout there. Green flag are underway from Mid-Ohio. And a hard charge into turn one. Nike Boy makes a 3 wide off the exit, and we're racing right early. And it's now Baseball Kid going to set himself up the inside for this hairpin. Could he make a move all the way to the lead? Speed Racer gets ahead. Oh, they're going to run wide. 24 way out wide on track. Sharp's going to be able to go underneath the 16. Baseball Kid goes from second to last with that move. Story Square's now battling for third with Dank. Speed Racer has a bumper full of 5 of Sharp behind him. Now into turn number 4. It's a bit of looseness on the brakes from the 5. 16 pulls away. 22 made contact with the 5. I think the 5 came more up into him, though. They'll be side by side for second for the moment. Now side by side for fourth behind. And Sharp nearly loses the car. Goes real slow through the segment of corners. And Speed nearly lost. He saves it. But Dank's going to have a head full of steam heading into the last couple corners on the track. And there's the bumper. And there's the 22 way out wide. 2 shot away off into the wall. Porchy. He might have some damage. He went way out wide into the tire barriers. And that caps off a very hectic opening lap. Speed maintains a gap now over the 22. It's the 11 behind. We have already seen plenty of examples of this track being really loose on these Cup cars. And consistency is going to be the key here. As the Speed Racer pulls away. Nike's grab second as Dank's falling back, and the 24 is parked in the sand. Might have ran wide again. No! Dank makes a move for third for the moment. Now he's trying to defend that against a 5. Sharp, who's come back after his moments in the opening lap. And he'll have to stick around the outside if he can. He's going to have the inside for the next couple. He does, and now he's able to pull away. Ty Racing is able to get by to 17 and all that. A lot of jockeying for positions in this second through third, fourth, fifth, sixth group, second through 6. Allowing 16 to get away some. As you see, 22 is going to run wide, trying to get as much speed off the exit of the final corner. He's going to lose out to Ty Racing. Now has a bumper full of 17, who is going to try to get a run, set him up for the hairpin. Very smart decision there. Veteran move, just wait for the right corner to make your move. There's certain corners that you could pass that without a mistake, and there's some that you just can't make it work. But driver making it work right now is the 5 of Sharp, who's going to be back side by side with Nike as they enter turn number 4. Hard braking zone. Nike goes deeper, and he goes wide. Sharp capitalizes off the mistake. Dank goes very deep into the corner. But he couldn't hold on as the 10 gets right back by him. 24 is not having a fun showing in the back of the field right now, as he's gone around multiple times already. Oh, the 11's off again. Just overdrives turn number 9. Now on the chase cam, we have Dank trying to set up this 10. 10 parks it on the bottom. Dank's going to try, maybe switch back here. Goes way in the grass. Has to let up for the 10. Or track limits, one of the two. That very aggressive move there. Sharp's already gone way off from the 11, mainly due to the mistake that he had back at turn 9 moments ago. He now has his sights set on the leader, who's way out in front himself. Speed racers led every lap of this race. Meanwhile, Dank is now finally able to get back by Ty Racing through in the hairpin, but a very, very squirrely moment on the brakes. A 10's back by, but now has to hold on the outside of the very hard to handle corner. Dank also struggling, gets loose there, loses out on the spot for now. And now the 10 Ty Racing gets in the grass, can't get out. 22 gets the spot back again. Just back and forth of drivers not being able to keep it on the track. 17 behind them, just hasn't been able to capitalize off of all these mistakes. And that's the stage wrapped up here. Speed Racer pulls away for an easy Stage 1 win in his debut. Sharp grabs second, Nike's third. That's followed by Dank Emotions, Ty Racing, Story Square. And it looks like it's going to be Porchy and Baseball Kid rounding out the field of 8 for stage points in stage number 1. So after the first couple of laps, drivers will be able to reassess here and get ready for stage number 2. Another quick dash. As Sharp will try to keep the 16 in his sights, this time the pole sitter there. Losing out on the opening lap, just couldn't recover in time. And we'll see if anyone else could sort of start figuring out this track and where the nuances lie. But that's the thing with Mid-Ohio. Once you think you have it figured out, that's when it bites you. Stage 2, same front row as before, just flipped to start off here. 16 on the inside of the 5 as they enter turn number 1. And that 16 goes all the way to that white line, so the curb. And nearly was cleared. Can't really get there. Now the 5's going to have the inside at the hairpin. That's Sharp. Dank runs wide trying to fit a third car in there. And now runs wide on the exit. There will be 3 wide behind him. Ty Racing backs out. Dank now out of the picture as well. But they're side by side for the lead. Enter turn number 4. It's going to be speed race. He's going to have to get later on the brakes. Trying to hold around the outside. Now forces Sharp very hard to get the outside to work at turn 5. But he does the crossover, which is probably your best bet. Before trying to get a 6. This time it's covered off. Speed holds on to the lead. For the time being. Now it's the 16 and the 5 side by side once again. After a brilliant move into turn 9 to get the nose under from Sharp. As we get the look back cam behind. Battle for third starting to heat up with the 22 all over the 11's bumper, trying to set up a run somewhere. But now that's sort of grown apart. As we get lap number 2 of the stage. As you really see the 16 able to get right down closer to the white line. But then Sharp does have runs. And he uses that getting into the hairpin, just force the 16 a bit wide. That time a bit of contact behind for third as Dank gets a little bumper happy once again. Oh, 10's getting loose off the corner behind. He was running 5th. We'll see if he retains. Looks like that's going over to Story Square, if I get the colors right. Oh, and the 11 and 22 are off for third. Sharp gets by for the race lead. The 11 is able to maintain over the 22, but that's brought the 17 closer into the picture now. And now 16 tried the same move Sharp had just a lap ago. Can't get it to work. Going to keep it right here with the leaders. Here's they've got a great battle going on right now. Sharp using all the track that he can right there. Might have just gotten a bit better of a run. Now it's Sharp's turn to get all the way to the inside. Part of turn 1. But he's still able to maintain that gap to the 16, which the 16 couldn't when he was running that line. And looks like the 24 has had some engine issues and has pulled into the pit road. So that leaves 7 on track. The 22 Dank has fallen back to 6. We'll perhaps get some insight into that later on. But now the 5 and the 16, they're right back at it. This is the closest battle in the field and is for the race lead here. Lap 3 of 5 in stage number 2. Speed goes for the entrance rather than the exit at turn 9. Not something that many would suggest to do, but maybe trying to pop the 5 car up the track a bit, affect his run. And now Sharp. And you see Sharp just goes a little bit slower at the apex with that final complex, but gets such a good run off that the 16 just hasn't had a chance to do much of anything. Now, the 5 didn't really get to use all the track that time, and that might bring the 16 to it, which is going to be huge because the 16 has been the better car in turn 4 all race so far. It's been where he's been making his moves and his defense is really, really well at. So we'll see, does he go for something here? He goes to the curb. The 5's able to cover off that time. And now the 16 just bides his time. But he's not going to have a lot more of that to work with. Quick scroll through the rest of the field. Nike's in 3rd, Story Square 4th, Ty Racing 5th. Dank Emotion still sits in 6th, and it's a 7th place run for Porchy. Nike gets a bit loose at the corner there, but keeps his 3rd position. His closest competitor is Story Square, who's Just a bit too far back there. Last lap of stage number 2, 16 right on the bumpers. They go through 1 and 2 this time. And it looks like he was peeking, but just doesn't have enough space to make the move. So say he's going to try for the run, gets a bit of the bumper, and he's going to be right there for. And now, does he have better opportunity this time in turn number 4? Sharp holds firmly. 16 does the same. 16 trying to use that switchback line. 5 Sharp covers it off really well. And now Speed gets a tad bit loose, and that might be all she wrote for this stage. Misses the apex at 9. And unless there's a mess up right here in these last couple of corners, I think Sharp just about is going to stay out of reach of the 16 for the stage win. Grabbing his first stage at a road course this season. He won Sonoma, but lost out on both stages to the 11. So there you have it. Sharp finally grabs the stage win. Speed Racer second. Nike sits in third. Story Square grabs fourth. That's followed by Tie Racing fifth. Dank Emotion sixth. And Porchi, who's not had the greatest of races himself so far, finishes 7th in the stage once more. And if that now set us up for this final run in the race, where we'll be. Now, we will have green flag pit stops here in this last stage of racing. And it's going to be the same front row as the start of this race. Sharp to the inside, Speed Racer to the outside, the 11 and Nike behind in third. The 5 goes a bit wide. That's going to set up side by side for second. Story Square is ready to capitalize as well from the 4th spot. He shoves the 16 back into the picture. And that goes way up the inside. Shoves all of them out the way, and it's clear the room. Here comes Nike. To the race lead goes the 11. Sharp now second, Speed Racer third, Story Square falls back to 4th. Porchi moves up 2 in the open and melee. Now Speed Racer with an aggressive move himself grabs the spot out turn 4. There's the move we were all waiting for. 4th place, Porchi gets the bumper in turn 5 before getting loose himself. Dank trying to work the outside of 5, now gets inside for 6 on Tie Racing. Sharp loses it himself now. He loses a spot, or nearly did. He makes contact with 17, which ultimately saves his 3rd place. Tie Racing nearly ends up in the tire barriers back in 7th. And now a 16 on the hunt. The 2's made his move. He gets to the outside of the 7th of Story Square in the final complex. Now with the inside through the final corner. It's side by side for the lead as they hit the 2nd lap of this final stage. Speed Racer on that inside line now he loves to use. Oh, bit of a squeeze. They keep it within the rumble strips. But now can the 16. Can he work it around the outside? Oh, he's going to go for the switchback. 16 in the 11. It's going to be Speed. 11 just has the outside momentum. 16 looks like he got a tad bit loose, trying to hold on to the car. Now the 11's been very conservative on the brakes here in turn 4. But he sticks it on the inside, which is going to be very hard for the 16 to make a move with anything else besides the bumper. And if you go too hard, that's going to mess up your car and bring Sharp back into this, which this battle already has. The 11 and Nike Boy Will on the fence. Now he gets the bumper at 9. And ran out wide. Speed Racer takes the lead of the race once again, as they head through 10 and 11. Story Square gets back into 4th place as Porchi now is trying to hold off Dank for 6. Nike goes way up the inside, try to affect Speed's line, and doesn't enough to where he's in position. Now turn 1, a bit of a bump and run at 1. Nike back in the lead. They're going to be side by side for 2nd now. Speed with more freedom to make a move on the 11. And does with a bump and run back to Nike Boy Will. Sharp just has to hold firm in 3rd for now. They're side by side once again. Speed on the inside at what has been his best corner all day. And hard in the braking zone. Too hard in the braking zone. There goes Speed. Way off the track into the sand trap. A costly error, getting a bit too antsy in this battle for the lead for the driver making his first career start. He drops back. Looked like he was in 4th for a moment. Gets by, still now back around Story Square. He's in 3rd. But now has to make up about second and a half on Sharp, who could himself easily have caught up on the 11 of Nike Boy. And now this has been the 5's best part of the track. This final complex right here. He's able to get such a good run. Has a run on the 11 here. Does he peek inside of turn number 1? Just goes a bit more inside there. The 11 looking for a run. Doesn't have it. It's going to be 5. He's going to have to push it around the outside to hold on. And doesn't have the complete run. Now he does. They're going to be side by side after contact. This is great news for Speed at 16. He wants these guys side by side to affect each other while he has a single hot lap line in front of him. Now Sharp gets by and retakes the lead of this race. But will it be without contest here? Looks like Nike hit that turn 8 better, but can't make it into anything at 9. And he has to force Sharp to go off kilter somewhere here, and he does push him all the way to the sand trap. Now Speed Racer's back in it. He's going for the lead of the race. And he will get there. Nike throws himself off kilter trying to use the bump and run on a 5. And now Sharp's right back in it himself, side by side for 2nd. With Story Square staring down both of them if they go for fireworks again. Sharp just does the clean pass right there. Nike can't use anything on the exit. And maybe this time they're finished. Quick scroll through the rest of the field. Porchi's had more issues and is now back in the 7th place. Moving Tire Racing in the 5th and Day Commotions in the 6th once more. As the 2nd or 4th group sort of starts to spread out here. But chase is on for Sharp as he goes for win number 4 on the still young season. And getting 4 out of 8. Oh, Story Square has lost it somehow. Weird place to lose the car as he slams the outside wall in the middle of turn 10. Not a place we often see people lose it. Meanwhile, Speed Racer has opted to go down pit road early. Now, personally, not my cup of tea to go down early at road courses. The mechanics of the game just don't favor that often. where low fuel is such a huge thing for laps, as we see live on the air that the two has parked into the pit road, making him the second retirement of the evening, leaving us with 6 cars out on track. Speed Racer exits. Story Square will do the same. So at the moment, Sharp, Nike, the first two not pitted, have not pit. While Speed and Story Square, the two that have. And Dank and Ty Racing are off in La La Land by this point. Now this pit stop has left the 16 out. This is turn 6. Nike and Sharp are pitting this lap. So there's the gap. As we'll get back with the 16 and follow him with the onboard on fresh tires, see if he can beat the 5 and the 11 out of pit road. Goes for the slow, wide apex there before cutting it right inside for the exit. Sharp's exit and Speed is full force of momentum. He retakes the lead, but Sharp is there. A money stop's made, and it's the money duo of this race. Once we get in these long runs, they've been first and second all afternoon. Speed Racing trying to hold off the 5. Did it in stage 1, couldn't in stage 2. Can he get the win in his debut, or will Sharp go and split it, give himself 50% win rate through the first 8 races of the year, getting race win number 4? And the 5 knows it's crunch time. He's slightly overdriving it right now. Off the exit of these corners. Oh, peaks his nose around the outside. He's going to be able to keep it there. If he makes this work somehow, I'm going to be astonished. Now he backs off a little bit and forces the 16 to drive himself wide. And now Sharp goes maybe a bit too wide. Ends up with 2 in the grass. Can't really get that to work. Speed retains for now. Was a nice shout, though, off the exit of 9. Going around the outside there. Nike, meanwhile, well clear of the 17. But meanwhile, it's back to the lead of the race. Speed Racer and Sharp. As they head down towards turn 4, Speed overdrove it earlier this stage, trying to defend against the 11, and he does it again. This time, he holds it enough to where he's side by side with the 5, but this could be the opening Sharp needs. He's in the lead now. Now has to go on the offense, and now Speed loses again at turn 8. Same spot that cost him any chance of a late move in stage 2. Just a couple of problem areas for the 16 that have popped up here, and Sharp has taken full advantage. Now with a sizable gap in the race lead in the closing stages. And you gotta know the thought process of the 5 now is keep it on the track. Make the other driver make the desperate lap attempts and screw himself over. Sharp, both these guys veterans of league racing, but know that sometimes you're going to be in a desperate spot anyways if you're the 16 here, and he's going to have to make up lap time somehow Can't just let the 5 run away with this. You see in the background, Nike Boy, 3rd place, fairly comfortably. Can't make a drastic mistake or he'll lose it to Story Square, but can't afford to run it off the road once or twice. Of course, that's not encouraged. This is NASCAR, not Rallycross. Oh, and the 16 has gone hard into the inside wall, just losing off that final corner, and that might be all she wrote for him. A valiant effort on his debut, but unless we get a caution, he's going to have damage on the car now. I don't know. I just don't see it happening. And that's the point in the race where everyone is just sort of in their own land. The closest battle, I believe, is still the 5 and the 16, but at that point, but this one is going to require a massive mistake off the 5 to even make this remotely interesting. Now, how many laps are left here? As this is the race right here, Sharp coming around the final corners. Mr. Consistent does it again. Race win number 4 for Sharp. Speed Racer got 2nd in his debut. Nike Boy will. He'll cross the line in 3rd. Story Square comes round for 4th place. Dank Emotions now 5th place. And Tire Race in. Well, he'll eventually make it around for 6th place. Sharp, you're a race winner from Mid-Ohio. Oh. As now we'll get the top 3 and 4. The post-race interviews here. Speed Racer fastest lap, one of 2 guys that hit 119s. Sharp, of course, being the other, only 2 tenths off of him. And that concludes a very hectic race at Mid-Ohio. And I know we don't have everyone in here yet. Now we do. So we'll start with post-race interviews. In the 11. You have a copy. One moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Nike, another podium for you. More points in that, bigger gap in that points lead there, but just besides that one move early in stage 3, just not much of anything for the front 2 tonight.
Yeah, the car was not very good. I felt like I was just fighting it the whole race. Those two were definitely gone. So it was just once I realized my car was absolute crap, I was just like, all right, I just need to somehow just gain points on my points lead, and I mean, I think I achieved that. So it wasn't a complete failure of a race, but I don't know, just I mean, it feels like I finished last. Like the car was that bad. I feel like I just was the worst car on the track. So I'll take third, I guess.
Well, I mean, you you might have to give yourself some credit. You were the third fastest car, and probably one of the more consistent ones I've seen. Just about anyone that was trying to match your speed shoot off in 20 directions at points in this race. So, I mean,
Yeah,
give yourself some credit there.
yeah, I guess so. But I don't know. Just I don't know. It's good win to Sharp, and I guess we'll see what happens at double points night at Vegas.
All right. Thank you. And now we'll move just one tick over to the 16 car, and in his debut with a second place finish and a stage win, nonetheless, Speed Racer, you have a copy.
Yep.
Well, you had the stage win, you were up, you were battling the front two all night, and you had the race lead with laps to go, and then just sort of fell apart from there.
Well, typical NASCAR 5, right? You run the same line for 17 laps, and then that 18th lap, it decides that you have ARCA brakes, even though it was the same brakes you've had all race. And I went to the Shadow Realm off of that one corner. I was hanging out with the fans in the corner, eating some hot dogs, checking out the wonderful NASCAR 5 scenery in the sky. And then after eating a hot dog, about an hour later, I decided to come out of the porta potties back into the race car. Came up to Nike Sharp. Nike did the same thing to Sharp, but it was much worse because Nike just murdered Sharp in an unsharp maneuver, if you know what I mean, off the racetrack. And I was able to get back around them before I hit pit. And then I did the same thing. While in the lead, cost me the race. It is what it is. Second place in a stage win in the first race, not too bad. We're gonna go off to Vegas. Where I'm gonna blow right front and hit the wall.
Well, I mean, we apparently have a fortune teller in our second place finisher there, but hopefully the race ends up better for you than whatever your fortunes may tell you there. I will say that the battle between you and Sharp, and I'll get more into that with the final interview here. That was some really good road course racing in and of itself. So I will applaud you on that with a great effort. One shy to win, but nothing to scoff at for the debut of Speed Racer in second place. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem.
And now we'll move over to a site that's becoming also familiar. The number 5 in victory lane. It's Sharp. Grabbing the checkered for the second week in a row, the fourth time this season. He's won half the races so far. How do you keep doing it?
This one didn't come easy. All props to Speed. I'm glad we were able to get him into the race with us there. We made a small route change right before the race. Was able to get him into the race to allow him to get some seat time with us if he would decide to continue racing with us after the season is done. And he had a lot of pace tonight. Mid Ohio is a very tricky road course to run on, and it bit me early on in the race. It was biting us throughout the entire race. I mean, Nike had his time up front, did a good job, holding us back. And I mean, it will get you. And unfortunately, Speed had the pace to win, and it just bit him that one time. When I got by him, I was kind of being a little bit conservative, trying not to allowed the same thing to happen to me. Was able to just put together a few extra solid laps there at the end, and I was able to bring it home. Just trying to build up some momentum as the playoffs approach, and I'm just glad with my work schedule and personal life I've been able to continue racing. It's a good group, and most certainly we'll hope we'll have more drivers continue attending as the season goes along. I mean, we only have we have Vegas coming up. I love that track, and not Gateway is going to be the finale before the playoffs start. So just trying to continue the good runs coming, get as many playoff points as possible.
Yeah, you've mentioned momentum, and I'd say you'd have easily the most momentum being white hot entering a double points race next week at Vegas is going to be absolutely huge. And if you manage to pull 3 in a row there's still time for a late comeback in the regular season points. So you never know what's going to happen these last 2 weeks here before the playoffs start.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I'm missing a couple races in our early going because of work, but we've been rebounding nicely. We've been having some good points days. Nearly had a max points day. Speed definitely took advantage of my early miscue. I about lost it twice, and he did a great job tonight. So again, props to him. I'm glad he was running with us. So we're just trying to close up that points gap. I mean, it's gonna be a challenge because I mean Nike has such a big gap to me coming into tonight. I mean he was 81 ahead of me, so Vegas is definitely gonna be crucial. And then Gateway is a very tricky track to run on there. I'm gonna be home for those two, so hopefully we'll just go out there, we'll do what we need to do, and we'll come away with the points necessary to make up that gap. But if not, still gonna be sitting pretty for the playoffs. And at this point now, I'm just kind of mentally getting myself prepped for those playoff races.
Yeah, that is for sure. I mean, keep in mind that you have all the playoff points from winning 4 races, stages. I think you might have gotten some from the All-Star race as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I had the fastest lap. That was about it. Now Riley got the majority of them. So, but yeah, the wins definitely have been helping out this season.
Yeah, so I mean, you're still looking pretty good for the season, whether you got regular season championship or not, and or if that ends up in the hands of the 11 or still the 22. Dag's still in the picture right now. So, I mean, double points night at Vegas next week is going to be a huge flip of the points for some, and we'll just have to wait till next Sunday to figure that out. Thank you once again, Sharp, for your time, as well as the other two in this booth and those who have raced tonight. Excellent racing all around, I will say. There was times where I was having to mouth off 3 battles happening at once. So for a albeit smaller road course field, that is excellent to see that we still have some competition going on here. And we'll be back with bigger numbers as we go back to regular time in next week. Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, double points night from Vegas. And until next time, I'll see you. This is T-Bird signing off. If I could find the broadcast button properly, I'll be signing off.